Hi there, Bella Rose here. I am reading an excerpt from my book because we are taking a break for the summer from interviews and solo shows and the like. So let's listen in to the Delight Your Husband book. Our background affects our views of sex. As women, it's easy to think that sex is nasty or dirty. Many of us grew up with that notion. It's not really our parents' faults. They were probably just trying to protect us. They wanted to keep us from exploring too much too soon. Your mom may have been clueless as to how to describe sex to you and thought the best thing to do for now was just to say it's bad. You may have been told that it was nasty, that you shouldn't touch that area, that the girls that move their body like that or wear those clothes are sinful. Your parents were informed by their parents, their culture, and many other reasons. The way they talked about sex to you, or didn't, has had a great effect on you. Even your parents' sexual relationship between each other have had untold effects on you, whether you know it or not. Their view of sex colors your own understanding of how sex should be. As a kid, your parents teach you your colors, they teach you right from wrong, and they teach you what sex is. We took all those as unquestionable truths at the time. Now, as adults, we must go back, sort through, and rewrite our understandings where there is falsehood. In our late teens and early 20s, many of us began to break from the systems of thought our parents laid out for us. In college, I remember being shocked at how I had been raised to understand certain topics. As my understanding and awareness expanded, I had to realize some of what I had believed since childhood was not an appropriate belief at all. I began to question things I thought were right for so long. I had even argued with others as a kid about these beliefs. And in college, I realized I was wrong. It was painful to peel back the layers that were clouding my vision. As adults, this peeling back and correcting our opinions and our thoughts should be an ongoing process. If we do not consciously question and rewrite our views, the automatic associations we were given from our family of origin will continue to affect us. Our job is to forge our own thinking and decide what we believe. This is part of God's plan as we are to be transformed by the renewing of our minds. Then you will be able to test and approve what is God's will, His good, pleasing, and perfect will, Romans 12:2. A sad truth is that many of you, dear readers, were the victims of sexual abuse. The holy experience of sex that should have been the utmost pleasure for you speaks of untold misery and heartache. I am so sorry that this has happened to you. God is angry that it did. You did not deserve that. A child or adult is never to be blamed at this kind of treatment. Though I have not walked in your shoes, I am praying that God would heal every atom of your heart and bring you to wholeness. God says that vengeance is the Lord's, and He promises that He will judge accordingly. The hurt and pain that you carry is deep. You should take time to delve into its effects and what ways it affects you and your current views of sex. I would encourage you to seek out a Christian counselor to help you through this process. Continually give this issue to God. Continue to talk to Him about your hurt and your struggle. He wants to heal and restore you to wholeness. God can use a mature friend whom you can be fully honest with and share your story to provide healing as well. I'm going to jump down a little bit further to talk about some of the questions I ask. Probably before we ever heard the story of Adam and Eve, we understood taking off our clothes was sinful. So write in your workbook, can you identify when you saw or heard that sex was bad? Was it just never talked about, except maybe in an R-rated movie? What subconscious messages did this send to you as a girl about sex? So the next section says, we're not fine. Our parents were probably just trying to protect us and keep us from messing around before the appropriate time. Maybe their parents told them just as little and they turned out fine, quote unquote. Well, when our nation's marriages are in crisis, far too many mothers are raising kids by themselves, men are avoiding popping the question like the plague, turning out fine is just not good enough. This is not fine. A friend of mine confided that her boyfriend is petrified that after they get married, they'll soon after stop having sex. My friend and her boyfriend have never slept together. He is just assuming it will happen because he's heard that so many times from his married friends. This fear is not uncommon. If we were fine in how we think about sex, talk about sex, teach our children about sex, then the status quo should also be fine, but it is far from it. We need to start talking about sex and the reasons we are so uncomfortable about talking about it. We need to be talking about it with our friends, with our kids, and especially with our spouses. So that is the excerpt for today. You can go to delightyourmarriage.com. You can listen to all of the interviews that we have done, and you can purchase the book at delightyourmarriage.com or check out the video course there as well. Well, God bless you. Thank you for listening. I'm excited to read another excerpt for you next week that will, God willing, inspire your marriage, inspire you to live in wholehearted intimacy with your husband. God bless. Bye.